Do it. Let me go ahead and get us connected. All right, folks. I think we have reconnected. Oh, yeah. It's looking good. It's looking smooth. Why is Google the best? I don't know. I'm still not paying them anything. I refuse. I refuse. All right. We're live. Boom. Boom. Okay, folks. Welcome back after some ridiculous technical issues that we had. We have gotten things back under control. It's looking much better now. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and dig right into it. We already know why you're here today. We are going to be testing out germ theory, virology, looking at one of the pillars of the propaganda machine. This is something that I feel everybody really needs to understand. And when it comes to the health, definitely need to get a hold of. You ever wonder why you're walking out in the street and some of these people just are acting like complete zombies, like they can't put together a coherent thought, understand anything that you're saying? Well, it might have something to do with the fluoride. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to make any specific claims, especially while we're over here on the YouTube. For those of you who do not know or maybe new to this kind of stuff, YouTube is not very friendly with their algorithms, and they will downright give you strikes for quote unquote medical misinformation. So we're gonna tread lightly while we're over here on YouTube. We won't stay long, so this should give you folks time to consider and create a free Rokfin account. That way you can catch the rest of the conversation where we really bite down and get on into this. So my guest is Jim Waterworld. He is over on Discord quite a bit, prominent over on the TikTok community, and knows quite a bit about a lot of different subjects. So we appreciate him coming on, taking the time. Jim, how are you today?
Good, Troubling. Thank you for having me on, and for those who are listening in. Hopefully we can help with this health issue a little bit.
Absolutely. Before we dive in too deep, let me go ahead and shout out the chats because we do appreciate everybody tuning in, making this a part of their day. So let's go ahead and wow, 6 of you are already back in. Found out that we did manage to get this restarted. Awesome. Round two, Admiral Dickie Bird. Let's do this. Absolutely. Huge shout out, my friend Jeremy Bird. Any relation? Probably not, spelled different, but still pretty weird. Sup, all is love. That's for sure. We also have Rebel Nazarene. Bad timing for me as I'm at the office today. Otherwise, I would have joined. That's all right. It's not an open panel today. It's just a nice conversation about germ theory. Briefly held over here on YouTube, but then going to be pulled over onto the Rokfin to finish out. Of course, Dr. Law. Welcome in, my friend. It was a pleasure to meet you at the meetup. Good to see you still in the comments, in the chat. Mark Rizzo. That's right, Dr. Law. Give him the old strong arm here. Rethink Inc. I love that name. Very clever. All right. Just good friends, TT. Just good friends. Well, we're all good friends here. At least I like to think so. So I appreciate you guys over here on the YouTube tuning in. Let's go ahead and check on the Rokfin chat. We got 2 watching and none currently commenting. So I can't shout you out, but I do appreciate you all the same. So I think that is going to about cover it. Still looks like it's a little choppy, but it's a lot better than it was earlier. That's for sure. So I do want to go ahead and again, we're not going to be over here long over on YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe over to Rokfin. I can't think of a better way to, a better way to find truth or information. It bypasses the algorithms, promotes things that you like, and you actually have the opportunity to support not only me, but other content creators as well. There are tons of content creators over here on Rokfin, like Jaronism, Karen B. We also have the Mellow Dome, huge community over there at the Mellow Dome. Be sure to check it out. And yeah, so definitely, if you have not had the chance already, be sure to check them out. As we all know, we are all here to red pill ourselves. A lot of us are red pilled already. But still, it's a good little visual for those of you who are new coming in to make sure that you're always challenging your beliefs. Don't get caught into false dichotomies. All right. Let's go ahead and get back to the panel. Where are we at? Boom. All right. So today, like we said, germ theory, viral theory, big pharma. It seems like everywhere you look, you're seeing a commercial sponsored by Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson and Johnson, and to be quite frank, in my opinion, this is nothing new. It just be something that people are paying more attention to nowadays. But there's always been a ton of medical commercials. Heck, I mean, in a lot of other countries, they're actually banned. America is one of the few places on earth where you can still get the pleasure of taking in a possibly unnecessary medical commercial to convince you to go crying to your doctor. But profit motive or no profit motive, is there benefit? Is this legit? This whole field of pharmacology, germ theory, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and start diving right in. And last thing we will say, a little disclaimer. Nothing that we are going to say in this stream should be misconstrued as medical advice. If you have any medical issues, please go see your doctor, yada, yada, yada. Not legal advice, not financial advice. You don't even have to call it advice if you don't want to. We're just having a conversation. But with all that out of the way, let me go ahead and turn the floor over to our guest, Jim. I appreciate you coming on again once again, getting a little tongue-tied. But go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Troubling. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for people who are listening now who may listen in the future. I think the big thing that woke me up to a lot of things that are going on today. I am a stationary topographical plane believer. Some people call that flat Earth. The thing that got me onto that is the fact that March 17th, 2020, I was told on TV that we had this SARS-CoV-2 virus, that COVID-19, and that we should shut the country down, and we should shut much of the world down. And within about a week, 3 billion people, B with a B, were told not to go to work. And I believed it. I played the games. When I went to Kroger's, I wiped the shopping cart down. I did the hand sanitizer thing, and so it came to me to really look into this Louis Pasteur thing and this Antoine Béchamp thing. So I really took off in that. Basically, you have germ theory, which basically believes that tiny invisible microbes can cause illness, disease, and death. And then you have terrain theory, Antoine Béchamp, that deals with toxicity issues. We are cutting off just a little bit, Tribune. I don't know if you can hear me. You're cutting off just a little bit. So
I can hear you loud and clear.
So okay, good. And so if I go somewhere you don't want me to go on YouTube, do a thumbs up and I'll go a different direction. I don't want you to get censored for being here on YouTube.
Well, I'm pretty sure you have just try to avoid like specific claims of any possible danger or harm or anything like that. Just like for this portion, just kind of like stick to like the basic history of it, and as hard as it may be, try to leave your opinion out, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think with Louis Pasteur, Louis Pasteur was from France. He basically hung out with Napoleon III quite a bit. So he was kind of considered not a real intellectual, not really all that important at the time. Then he had a contemporary over in Germany called Antoine Béchamp, Bechamp, how you pronounce it. That's kind of up to you. And he was German, and he was actually quite the intellectual, quite the serious person at the time. They were contemporaries, 1860s, 1880s, and Louis Pasteur's germ theory took off. Um, Louis Pasteur did a diary, as many people do, and those diaries, they're called the secret diaries of Louis Pasteur. They were kept quiet, and they were actually released just as soon as 1993. And a lot of his ideas have now come to be known by the average person. What's fascinating is that medical schools like Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, medical schools, they often have their library split up between regular students, quote regular students, and medical students. And the diaries, secret diaries of Louis Pasteur, are not found in the medical school portion of these universities, because if medical students would read about Louis Pasteur, they would find out what he was really about, because the secret diaries of Louis Pasteur are quite illuminating. um, you can buy them online, but it's like $110, $120 to buy a 400-page document. Now, where in Barnes and Noble do you have to spend $110 to $120 to buy a 400-page book? So they price it really high so you don't buy it. They don't allow medical students in medical universities to read it. So the whole thing, what I quote a scam, hoax, lie behind germ theory is not really exposed to people, because it would cut into big pharma, big government, NGOs, government grants, university grants, education grants. So it's really, really interesting how this has all come about. Um, I don't want to get real specific. Maybe wait till we go to the different channel. But just know, if you look into Louis Pasteur, and you look into Antoine Béchamp, Béchamp was the smart one. Pasteur was actually kind of the clown. Like I said, he hung around with Napoleon III, and he did some real strange things. The secret diaries of Louis Pasteur talk about it. Here's one thing they did. He tied it. He tied a dog to a tree. This is actually in his diaries. He tied a dog to a tree, live dog. He pumped the dog full of substances that were toxic, equaling 1/3 of the dog's brain size mass. And when he found that the dog started foaming at the mouth, and he called it rabies. That's how we got rabies. Louis Pasteur tying a dog to a tree, pumping the dog full of 1/3 of the dog's brain size with toxic substances. And when the dog's brain had inflammation, the dog started foaming at the mouth, and he called it rabies. That's how we got rabies, ladies and gentlemen. So I
Well,
it's
you may
absolutely
have already said too much for the YouTube
okay. Okay.
audience, right? We
Okay.
can't really
Well,
dive into the
anyway. So
specifics, right? So I don't know. I'll just throw this out here while we're still out here. I don't know, the specificity, the evidence for that particular claim. I don't even really know the official story behind how we discovered rabies. But if that is true, that is
it,
absolutely
it,
wild.
it, it's actually in his diaries. He put it in his diaries. It's 400 pages. They were kept quiet for what, 75 years, and his family wanted them released early, because many people in his families knew he was a fraud, and they wanted it released early, but it wasn't released until 1993. And so you can actually fact check that by actually purchasing his diaries online. So I find it fascinating that, first of all, universities don't preach this stuff or teach this stuff. Second of all, if you want to go find it, it costs you 110, $120. So I just find it fascinating how they use money to kind of keep you quiet. So
Oh,
anyway,
we lost your. Oh, you're good. I was about
yeah.
to say we
So
lost your
so
picture.
so yeah. So it's all really fascinating, interesting to me. How these how these things have come about. Um,
What year was
so in any,
what time frame was Louis Pasteur, Anton Béchamp versus maybe probably I'm guessing a little bit later on when Rockefeller had um, funded the pharmacology in all the universities and basically helped lobby to get that to be I don't know how you would word this where basically he lobbied to have that be the predominant health care and they started doing away with natural healing and things of that nature.
what we're told is that John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie, starting in 1902, started buying out universities and putting their information in. They started giving money to universities as far as grants. They started in the medical schools as far as infiltrating with germ theory in 1902. They also went into hospitals and started providing hospitals with brand new equipment. And at the same time, on these hospital boards and university boards, they were getting rid of the holistic or homeopathic trained people and replacing them with their own people. So it started in 1902. Something that people can actually look this up too. In 1910, Rockefeller had a guy by the name of Flexner, Flexner, write a 400-page document outline germ theory and allopathic medicine going forward. So from 1902 to 1910, it was basically, let's get into medical schools, let's get into hospitals and universities, let's get rid of the homeopathic people, the trained people, and let's replace them with our people. Let's buy the hospitals all new equipment. Let's let's get on boards. Let's kind of it was a hostile takeover. Is what it is. Started in 1902, and then they needed something in writing, actually something in writing going forward. So they did that with the Flexner report starting in 1910. It's a 400-page report. I think you can download it. I don't think it costs you anything to download. You can actually read it online if you want to get into that much depth. But it was a lackey of Rockefeller by the name of Flexner saying we want to proceed this way with allopathic medicine, and that's what they did. And then you'll find in the 1930s that the American Medical Association, AMA, was bought out basically using money. Everything in allopathic
What else would they
medicine
use?
is bought. Everything is bought, and if you didn't go along with it, you were fired. And there's reports that people who didn't go quietly were arrested. So it's just fascinating. This has nothing to do with science. It has everything to do with power. Everything to do with power. Now, what was fascinating is, I don't think I'm getting in too much trouble saying this, is John D. Rockefeller was really big into oil, Standard Oil.
No.
If you remember, he was really big into oil. So when he took over the medical industry, he started to put oil-based products into the drugs, the pharmaceutical drugs that people were taking internally. And when they found out that those drugs were causing cancer,
Ooh,
what
so
did he do?
we probably gotta pump the brake. We gotta pump the
Okay.
brakes.
Anyway,
All right.
okay. All right.
We're gonna
All right.
so here's what we're gonna do. Because I don't think we're gonna be able to talk about this anymore without me possibly losing
Without
my
getting a
YouTube
strike.
channel.
Without getting a strike.
Yeah, without getting
Yeah.
that strikes. I have no strikes as of yet, so I'm gonna try to keep it that way. But I seen there are quite a few folks over there that have joined on YouTube. That's absolutely fantastic. You didn't miss too much. We just went into some of the history there. We're gonna go ahead and move on over to the Big Kids Club where we can speak freely, and that way we don't have to censor ourselves too much. We can let Jim here be Jim and go through his points without having to constantly be like, "Hey." So we appreciate all of you guys coming in. I want you to smash that like button on your way out the door, and there is a link down below. It'll actually take you to the old to the old stream. Whoops. But there is a new stream, streaming right now on Rokfin. You can catch it. It's got the same thumbnail. It is absolutely free while the show is live. So catch it now. Feel free. Go over in browser. Don't use the app. I don't like the app too much just yet, but the browser works perfectly. Go over to the Rokfin Troubling Tribune, hit follow, and go ahead and catch the rest of this show. We're gonna get into some really good stuff here. I already can tell. So I appreciate you all. Let me go ahead and I don't think we really need to waste our time with the song because we already wasted too much time with the stream shitting out on us earlier. Pardon my language. But so let's go ahead. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, see ya, YouTube. We will see you guys all over on the Rokfin now. Sayonara.